Let's go. Welcome to the show. You dig what I'm saying? This your boy Cobe Rising Rise. We back at it again. You feel me? Hey man, you already know you got your player boys right here, man. We got Cobe Rising Rise and we got Showtime. You dig? And then we got a special guest coming in. You feel me? As y'all can see today's topic. Hey man, this is gonna be a real big one right here, y'all. We have alkaline plant-based versus vegan. Hey, we're gonna see who's gonna win this battle. You dig? I know we're gonna have a few of these little haters, man. They might be talking junk, but you know what? We're here for the smoke. We're coming with the facts, big dog. Hey man, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
Great, man. It's a beautiful day. It's a great day outside. Got some water, man. Getting some sunlight. It's great. Life is good. Life is good. As you can see, we got a special guest. I'm super excited. We've been talking about some things we're going to do in the works. You know, some stuff we'll be able to provide and benefit the risers with as well. And came right through. So rarely do. And you see right next to me. So she right in the office, right in the lab with me. So that's good, man. Real good stuff is happening.
Well, I'm honored to be here and be a part of the conversation. I got me some alkaline water right here too. So yeah, we on point. We all sync together doing the same things.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey man, listen, we appreciate you having you on the show. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, just tell the people a little bit where they can follow you at, you know what I'm saying, if they can get it going, and then we'll jump right into the topic.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook, Akil Ali. I have a website called QueenCityOrganicSport.com. You can find me on Instagram, Queen City Organics. And that's pretty much where I am. Insta, World Wide Web, and Facebook.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I love it, man. Welcome to the show. Hey, now, you know, I think you'll be a perfect addition to this topic, you know, when it comes to defining this whole craze about alkalinity, you know, plant-based, vegan, you know, all these little buzzwords that you see out here, you know, and people not really understanding, you know, the ins and outs, you know, especially when it comes to that, you know, that sea moss, you know what I'm saying? So absolutely. Yeah, this will be perfect. So, you know, I'll kick it pretty much right into it. You know, we hear so much, you know, with these buzzwords, like I said, you know, we hear people say plant-based, you know what I'm saying? We hear people see alkaline, you know, we hear people just talk about vegan, right? Mm-hmm. And so the average person don't really know. They know it's no meat, no dairy, whatever, right? But there's a difference because there's some alkaline vegetables, you know what I'm saying, that's different, you know what I mean? They're all vegan, but not all you know what I'm saying, not all of them have that same quality. Let's just say that. You dig what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm opening up is, you know, what is the real meaning between like a alkaline vegetable or fruit, you know, versus what vegan is, you right? So because I see a lot of unhealthy vegans out there, you know what I'm saying? Some people say, oh yeah, I'm plant-based, I'm vegan, you know what I'm saying? But you know, some of them have issues. You know what I'm saying? So some of them, you know, they're not really, you know, active, or some of them are not really you know, having good vitals. You know, some of them are actually not seeing results, not like how they would like to, right? So I think there is a big difference, right? And so just to understand, to think about this, French fries essentially is from a potato, and that's considered vegan, but we all know French fries is not really the healthy thing for us.
The whole potato isn't good for us.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying, and it's a lot of stuff that people don't think about, you know, when it comes to, you know, this whole called vegan craze. And I think it's a mindset behind it, and understanding where you are and what you are capable of eating and what the benefits are or what the outcome is of what we're digesting into our bodies and knowing what it's doing. So yeah, so I guess I'll start it off really with this. I'm gonna let y'all, you know, kind of give y'all's take on it, you know, and then I'll take it back, you know, and we'll get to the next segment. So I'll start with you, Sho. So, you know, what's your whole idea behind the whole plant-based alkalinity and vegan itself?
I'll say this. I knew this would be an episode for me to learn, but I will say, you know, when she brought up her water, she showed her water, and I guess, well, speaking of alkaline, that would be more the alkaline version, and my water would be more the vegan choice. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, perfect.
all I know is I definitely admire, man. I'm working out with my boy Wolf the other day, man. We working out, and he like, well,
Not the wolf.
say you can't. Yeah, shouts out to the homie. Such and such you can't drink. Said you can't drink water. I'm like, now hold on, now like this my dog. So I'm like, whoa, don't.
Come on. That's what we're here for.
But then I look, so man, I wish I knew the guys. It's like Yaki, Awakening. Yeah, so
Yaki Awakening. Yeah, shout out to Yaki.
Yeah, and there was something to it. So I'm looking and I'm like, oh shoot. So there's a pH. He's talking about a pH balance, and there's a difference. So like I said, I don't know much, but I'm eager to learn. That's why I'm glad I got my partner right beside me. I know you, Cobe. You speak a lot about the alkaline, and there was actually something to it. So I'm coming from a training base, and like I said, I guess I would be right now more on the vegan stance, more the plant-based stance, because just of my understanding of what foods is good to eat and bad to eat. And I think even that at the end of the day comes down to what's better for you. And there's a different understanding I think that those people have when it comes to the alkaline diet and the alkaline way of living. So I definitely slide it off.
It's definitely, a fine line between the two, I would say. From my personal take on, a more alkaline diet versus just a vegan diet or plant-based. It's like it's levels to veganism.
Yeah, that's facts. And I kind of want to give a take too, because a lot of the things that people want to cut out is still technically vegan. Like for example, like potatoes and rice, even though those are technically vegan, they're not really the best options for you. So this is one thing we're talking to about starch. So we know what starch does to the body. It's a binder. So it's kind of like, with white rice, it's the quickest to make because it's the most stickiest. You dig? So like something like that's what starch really is. It's something that just is a binder that sticks to you, right? And it does have an effect on our diet and our nutrition system when we digest a lot of it, right?
Right.
So I think it's about that balance, it's finding that scale, you dig? And so, coming from an alkaline plant-based source is where I'm more so in line with, right? So there's something called a health standard. There's a food standard too. So vegan has a food standard, right? And so I think something like white rice or something like that, that's a vegan standpoint, even though it's on a lower scale, right? So from an alkaline standpoint, the lowest scale that you can get to is pretty much still alkaline. So for example, wild rice is considered a more of a healthy option of rice, but that's the lowest scale of an alkaline plant-based. So if white rice is the lower scale standard to a vegan, example, then wild rice would be the lowest scale of an alkaline plant-based diet. So you have a different level of antioxidants and nutrients that you're going to get when you have this type of level of standard when it comes to health. You know what I'm saying? So there's also something called black rice, which is completely all black. It's long grain, which is a little bit more healthy than wild rice just because of the mixture. So I think it's important just to kind of differentiate the two. And I'm not going to say, one's better than the other. I think it's more so, personal preference, right? But, I like to bring the facts with it because, we all know that starch isn't the healthiest for us. So I think it'll be wise to lessen as many of those options as we can, right? And so I like what you said too about the water, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to talk about the difference between the alkalinity of water, some of the benefits of it, and what water, should we really be drinking, right? And so, what's your take on that, Akil, and just kind of give the people your take and your knowledge on some of the water intakes.
Well, for me, I would always go with alkaline water. And of course, you have structured water. You got purified water, distilled water, spring water, tap water. Tap water is, for me, that it's not really even drinkable at this point for me. And it's acidic. Even when I clean my sea moss, sea moss grows in, unpolluted waters. So I can't take it from an unpolluted water and put it into American tap water once it gets here. You're changing the environment. So imagine when you're going and you're drinking just distilled and purified water that's went through reverse osmosis to alkaline water in the environment in your gut. So, alkaline, you want an alkaline environment in your gut because diseases and parasites can't live in alkaline environments. So that's why I prefer alkaline water.
You know what I wanted to add before we get too far, man? You was saying a lot, Cobe, man, and you had me thinking, what is the difference for the people? Like, what are we going to give the people ultimately, from this? Is there much of a difference between vegan and alkaline? And I thought about that, man. I know vegans that aren't necessarily healthy, and they aren't necessarily trying to be healthy.
Exactly.
I know vegans that do it because of animal reasons. I know vegans that love pets so much that they just won't eat an animal. And I think people that, and I want to get more closer to an understanding of the pH balance and some of those alkaline foods that are obtainable, because where we live, man, everybody trying to do something now. As soon as we find out what's healthy or what's better for us, that's when the corporations are going to try to come in and pollute it. So definitely, man, I understand this. Like she said, that alkaline host, diseases can't live in the alkaline body. So, that's a major difference when it comes to that. You can be vegan and not be unhealthy. That it's very likely, because all it is what are you doing? You restricting. You're not eating the meats, the dairy. Like I said, I know people that went vegan, just fried everything. Every that's not healthy.
Yeah. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's real. Yo, and that's a perfect segue, because that's pretty much a point that I wanted to make, because I've seen so many people that, I wouldn't even think was vegan until you talk to them, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I've been vegan for such and such. I'm like, you huffing and puffing and all this other stuff, like, what I'm saying? Like, it's, and they, like you said, because they frying a bunch of stuff, like, I asked them how did they get started, and most of them, like you said, they just went to French fries, drinking beer, stuff like that. And I use those two as a main example, because that's what you see most of the time. That's an easy go-to. You find them anywhere. You dig? And so they find themselves overindulging in those type of foods. And then in actuality, you're intaking more trans fats, the bad fats, more so often, right? And then you're having a lot more carbs, and you're having a lot more of this, digestion issue, and your food's not being broke down because you're not having a wide variety of fibers, because you still need your vegetables, and they're not really intaking that, right? And so I want just to kind of give the people I don't think nothing's necessarily wrong with veganism, but what I will say is to have the mindset of, if you're gonna do it, have a wide variety and try other things, and just incorporate a nice, balanced, healthy lifestyle, right? And so even for me, right, I personally went more the alkaline route because of what aligns with me. So I'm into fitness, right? I work a 9 to 5 just like everybody else do, right? But I find myself, tired when I get off work, come home, it's that daily routine, right? So when I switched my diet into more of an alkaline state, it kind of gave me more energy, right? And so I was able to feel more alive, right? And so I was actually experimenting with different waters, like you were saying, and got more into that clean alkaline source, right? And I'm gonna be honest, not all alkaline water is the best, right? Because you got to come from the right source. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so I started to tap into, coming from a natural source like an aquifer. I think we talked about it on our last show. I think it was last week's show, where I talked about the water that's coming from an aquifer that's being naturally turned alkaline through the rock. So like where I'm from, Salisbury, got this place called Granite Quarry. And so underneath it is a lot of granite rock. So when you have an aquifer, that water filtration is going through the natural granite rock, and it shoots up, and it, waters your home if you have well water, right? And not the city water. But that water is a lot more healthy for you because of its natural filtration system, and it turns it naturally alkaline. There's actually 2 spots in North Carolina that has it as well. One is in South Carolina, and then the other one's in Winston-Salem, where the water has been tested and it's been pH tested. So that water, all of it's from a natural source, from a natural aquifer, and the scale is above a 7. So I think it's like a 7.4, 7.5, just depending on where you are. But it's naturally alkaline. And so it gives you more of a benefit. You dig? And so I also just kind of wanted to highlight that because most people don't even think about it. You know, it's funny you say it because one of my friends, they were drinking alkaline water at one point, and they were eating food, and they said, I felt sick when I was drinking alkaline water and eating at the same time. And I'm like, okay. So I noticed that whenever we're eating food, it's best for us to drink, water from either a natural source or just a basic 7. Or you can sometimes get sick or just, kind of like lightheaded or whatever. And I think it's got to do with something from the pH. So if you're not eating, I think that's a better option for, indulging in alkaline water. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard of that before. Have y'all heard anything like that before?
I think I have.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah, that's weird. And I didn't know anything about it until I did it myself. And I'm like, well, I kind of see what they're saying a little bit, but just want to get a game because, like I said, some people, they don't really know the differences on it, what the benefits are, when it comes to alkalinity, the water that we're taking in, the juices, teas, and everything, And so just want to give people that knowledge to where they can make a choice. So now they can understand, okay, even though these things are vegan, not all vegan options are the best, but what options can we necessarily take to increase our health, right? So that we're not so, unhealthy. You dig?
Thanks. And like I stated, where we live in, so it's hard to strictly adhere to those principles, man. I was looking, my man was saying they genetically modified the mangoes, even the fruits, so I think it's important for us just to give the risers, even we are learning, like I said, man, I'm excited about this episode. I want to learn too and understand, so we give the information and we give our perspective. So now we can make those informed decisions. I think that was a great breakdown that came to me with the vegan and the alkaline. So a lot of times people want to be vegan and wonder, man, why I'm not losing this weight? I'm vegan. It's a difference. It's a difference. You feel me? Like it's a difference. And I definitely think alkaline, you striving more towards like a groundedness, man, more a connection with the earth and more of a health, and that's more of it's health first type perspective. I think a lot of times in that vegan, we get tired of meat for whatever reason. And like you said, man, we just want to give the information. We always speak about being true to oneself, understanding, knowing your why. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because of the animals? Are you doing it because you don't like meat? There's been times where I'm looking, I'm like, oh man, I don't miss that, that how the meat, how you used to have to clean it and do this. And, this. I'm like,
let it thaw out from the freezer. You gotta wait a long time to get that out.
So it's important to come in the game knowing exactly why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? Is it for health reasons? Do you want to stick to the alkaline a little bit more, or is it just the vegan? So I think definitely that's a great topic.
I would say self-care has a lot to do with it. When you really start going on your healing, you start caring about yourself more. Start caring about what you put in your body, your surroundings. Like you were saying, being more connected with nature has a lot to do with it. So I think as we get more grounded and more connected with Mother Earth, we want to do things in a more organic, natural way.
That's real.
That's from my personal experience.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just speaking from a personal standpoint. I've been in a state where I dropped a lot of weight, and at that time I was in a very alkaline state. Everything was alkaline. Everything, every day was kale salad. It was quinoa, couscous. The only fatty foods I might have been like an avocado. I ate Ezekiel bread. I had more sprouts in my diet. I didn't have any processed sugars. It was just all raw. I ate a little fish here and there, but I always made sure it was wild caught.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting to learn. Even meat, they're just like us. They get parasites and things of that nature. So, I understand. Why people swing different ways.
Yeah. Yo, that's a fact. It reminds me of a story I seen on YouTube. I don't know if y'all heard of it, but um, they were talking about like over in Montana, like where they was watching the black bears and the grizzly bears, and we all know the grizzly bears, they go into the water and eat the salmon. And so one time this guy was on a one of those little hunt trails where they was like, yo, there go the bears, they outside in the woods, right? Super green, super foresty, there's a bunch of water everywhere. And so they saw this black bear had a string coming out, out his tail, right? So they were like, what's that little string? And so the guy that was just tour guiding them said, oh, that's a silkworm. And they were like, where did the silkworm come from? And it's because they said the bear eats so much salmon that the salmon has these silkworms in them when they digest them. And the thing was so long, it looked like a tail, but it was sticking out of the bear. And it was coming from that salmon because the salmon had those parasites in it, right? And those silkworms. So, we got to be careful, when it comes to, the foods that we eat and understanding the cleaning process and just, the source, right? So apparently parasites really, really love to lay eggs in salmon. So they won't even know it until after the hatchings and things like that. You dig? And so if it can happen to a bear, it can happen to us. There's some parasites in our bodies as well that we not necessarily, be aware of. But, there are some cases where you may have a tapeworm, I guess, for example, and there's different ways to tell, right? And you can look this up as well. But my point is as long as we can understand what we're putting into our bodies, I think is the key. It's kind of like putting a higher quality food in our bodies, like a high quality gas into a car. So we all know the 93 is a higher octane gas. It's supposed to be better for your engine, right? So I would consider, and this is my personal opinion, I would consider alkalinity that 93 octane gas that you would put in your car versus like, I think vegan would be like an 87. It's not all the way bad, but it's a quality that can lack if we don't understand what we're putting into our bodies, right? And so for me, I think it was best for me to kind of go that alkaline route because it was a much harder route. So not all vegetables are alkaline. So like I know broccoli is not an alkaline vegetable. It's a hybrid mix. I'm trying to think of what's another one that's not
cauliflower, carrot.
Yeah, cauliflower is not one. Kale's not one. Potato, that's not alkaline vegetable either. So so people don't even, and I'm not saying they're not healthy, but it's just a different quality of food that we're digesting in our bodies, right? And it does different things and it formulates. So what I did, I created like a food pyramid, kind of like a new one, because we all know the regular food pyramid, man. It's confusing. You got this dairy in there, you got the eggs, you got the meat in there, grains. You know what I'm saying? The white bread. The white bread's even in there. You know what I'm saying? The pastas and even the fats and oils at the very top, but it's still in there. So it tells people like, I guess it gives them a twisted sense. So they're considering, by that pyramid, they're considering pizza something healthy because it's got its bread, it's got its vegetables from the tomatoes, it's got its dairy from its cheese, and of course it's got the meat on there. But we all know pizza ain't the healthiest for us, right? But based on that food pyramid, you might as well consider it's got everything in the food pyramid. So in a normal person's eyes, that's healthy. But they're not really thinking about the quality of food that they're putting into their bodies and where it comes from. You dig what I'm saying? And so I pretty much created my own type of, I could see if I can try to pull it up real quick.
I want to touch on that. Okay. This is something that I'm learning. I just learned myself. And we got back to who created that food pyramid and our genetic makeups. And this isn't to offend anybody, but, people from different ethnic backgrounds, we have different DNAs, and, they process things differently. So a lot of us need to go back to an ancestral diet, eating what our ancestors ate. Also, their diet is based on your blood type. And I think a lot of people need to get more familiar with the blood type diet. Like I really just started figuring out that I'm not supposed to eat stuff that I've been eating for years according to my blood type, and the dangers of what those foods could do to somebody like me eating those. types of food. So yeah, we got to get more food educated.
Absolutely. You actually touched on something that I wanted to kind of briefly discuss, right? And I know we can go deep with that. You know what I'm saying? So we can, but I'll sum it up to say this. So if anyone has, and I'm sure y'all probably have, when y'all get blood work done, do y'all ever look at the numbers and like the GFRs and the laboratory results after you get your blood work?
Okay.
So there's an African American side, and there's a non-African American side.
Uh-huh.
All right. So there's a reason for that. So race is included in our health standard scale.
Right.
So, and I want some people to look this up for themselves, right? But there was a story where an African American had went to the doctor, and this was before the whole GFR stuff, right? And he wasn't feeling good. He had signs of just kidney failure, but when he went to go get his test results done, they were coming back regular. And the reason for that is because the scale was based on a European standard.
I got something else I want to touch on that too.
Okay, I'll finish it up and I'll let you go. So long story short, he knew something was wrong. He kept going back. The doctors knew something's going on, but his health levels were pretty much, the numbers showed correct. So he'd been fighting the court case over time. He eventually lost, and I think he did pass away because over time of kidney failure, of course, you won't live that long. But long story short, they found out that the health or the measurement of the African American is different than the European standard. So they had to make the difference into that laboratory report for GFRs and the CKDs and the MDRDs. You know what I'm saying? So it's long story short, it's a difference, right? And I'll let you go ahead and go. I just wanted to say that quick spiel.
Okay, when you were referring to the labs, because I just found out in my spare time I study integrative medicine, holistic medicine, but integrative and traditional are two totally types of things. Most people have, traditional medical doctors here in the United States. And the way that they do labs in our traditional medicine is they just do conventional labs. But we really need functional lab tests because, see, the problem that happened with that guy there, from what I learned, is conventional labs don't see changes in blood patterns. They don't see diseases forming. And it doesn't give you a full spectrum of the body. So when you're getting labs done, you want to get functional labs, and they can see if you have a disease coming before it's even there. And the levels are different as well. But if you don't have an integrative doctor, you would never know that. You couldn't save your life ahead of time. So, it's just differences that we just don't know on a day-to-day that could save your life.
Do we have access to any of those integrative doctors now?
To be honest,
locally, not really.
No, I mean there's some holistic doctors out here. Like I know Fort Mill has a holistic practice, and I think Rock Hill. But the testing is what I have found to be kind of hard to find. Like who does functional lab testing?
Yeah, you're and I think you're speaking on something that is underrated and not necessarily talked about because it's one of those black holes that no one really knows about, but we know it's there.
Right.
So I guess it's like you said, it goes back to your DNA. Everybody has allergens. So I can eat whitefish and be fine. The next person down the street can eat whitefish and it'd be the worst thing ever for them because of their allergen due to their DNA system. It's what they're born with. It's their blood, it's their DNA, it's their family origins, where they come from, and their genetic system. There's a guy that was on Impact Theory where he talked about DNA, and he talked about reading DNA to be able to tell what type of person this guy or girl will grow up to be based on the readings of their DNA. And so he took it to the next level when it comes to food too. So he knows what to feed his kids because due to his DNA and origin. The guy was Arabic, so he knew that Arabics in the times of origin, they ate certain foods. So when they eat certain foods, it benefits them due to their DNA of origin. You dig? And so if that's the case, we have to look at it from an African standpoint. So shout out to Dr. Sebi when he talked about the African biomineral scale. So for us, it's important that we digest a lot of iron and a lot of oxygen, a lot of food that caters toward that alkalinity to give us the best benefit. And so one thing that made sense to me was I know that African Americans have a higher testosterone rate, right? We produce a bunch of creatine levels and androgen levels, which also puts us more of a higher risk for prostate cancer too, due to the high levels. So if we don't know what to eat, that could be dangerous for us too. So some things that can help regulate our androgen levels in a healthy manner would be something like quinoa and habanero peppers. Those give you the good androgen levels, so that way we're not, as tormented by the other diet that we would necessarily eat that's not necessarily for us. But if we don't do the research, we wouldn't know that anyway.
Right.
And so I think it's important that you actually touched on that, because I think people just need to do research on themselves and take a test. I think there's a test, right, that you can do for your DNA.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where would you go for that?
Well, people typically go to 23andMe, Ancestry DNA to kind of find out, your genetic makeup. And I've met a lot of people lately that don't even know their blood type.
No, don't.
So, it all starts with knowing self. And like you said, just reconnecting with self. We studying everything else, but are we really studying ourselves? So we can really know how to exist in this world, stay healthy.
And we gotta, man, I'm big on letting y'all know, man, we gotta take into consideration we live in a whole nother time. We wasn't always trying to mass produce. We wasn't always, that technology is advancing too. We get creative with things. It may not necessarily be the healthiest, for you, but they're gonna throw it in your foods. Me and my wife, well, she be joking all the time about, the commercials that are, have you ingested any products by such and such, you may have a lawsuit. For real, man. When we found out that I think Quaker or some other, factories were producing the same factories were producing the Roundup weed killers and things, and some of those things, just the chemicals being produced in some of the same factories. I don't want to name drop, but I think it was something to deal with, like those two. The Quaker, I definitely know the Roundup weed killer has some things that were causing some chemicals in it, and yes, you're not eating it, but still, like I said, it's the same process, man, with the chemicals that they use and with the foods. If it works, if it sells, it may not kill you. If it don't kill you right then and there, and it's gonna kill you over time.
Eventually. Eventually they don't. I think people don't really care about humanity anymore. Then look how our food in the United States is actually banned in other states.
Come on.
Tide and Gain is banned in the state of New York. I don't think a lot of people know that the Tide and Gain is so toxic to the human body, the environment. There are so many toxic things we're putting on our body and in our body on a daily basis, and we're wondering why we're sick.
That's heavy. Yo, that's heavy, man. And I'll even add this on top of what you're saying. Like, I'm even looking at other countries like Europe. So in Europe, their clothes sizes, they're a little bit smaller than the American sizes. And American sizes are bigger because we're essentially bigger. They're smaller over there due to the diet that's over in the Europe. Do you realize that there's a sugar tax in Europe? So it costs more money to drink a Coca-Cola in Europe than it does over here. It's cheaper to drink a Coca-Cola over here than it is over in Europe.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but it also tells them, well, if I'm gonna pay more money to eat sugar, I'm just not gonna eat any sugar.
Right.
Hence the benefit of why essentially their bodies are a little bit different. They're a little bit more, on the slimmer side, but they're a lot more healthy as well. Because in America, it's like an overindulge. Like I remember, I had someone coming from the UK, and they always used to hear something like barbecue. So we know what barbecue is, right? The ribs, chicken, all that, right from the grill. They don't have it over there, but they always want to experience it because you can't get that over there. So when they came here, they saw all this food being brought on the table, and they're like, yo, this is too much food. I never even knew that we could eat this much food. And it mind boggled me because that's normal to us, but it was crazy to them because they don't get that. So like, if we go to like Texas, Texas Roadhouse is an example. you know, they keep giving you the rolls, and them rolls be banging, right? Rolls be good, you feel me? But like over there, you don't get rolls, and you don't even get a big basket. You get two little strips of bread that's like a whole, you know, wheat type of bread, sprouted bread. Once you finish those two, you don't get any more. You cut out. So it's a difference in a mindset over here than it is over there. We're so overindulged in America. You know, I think we get away from that thought process. It's just different. You know, it's almost like a propaganda is being pushed that says, "Oh, it's cheaper to eat this food, so go ahead and do it." And the people who can't afford it, they're like, "Well, I mean, we ain't got the money to eat over there, so let's go grab McDonald's real quick because we can feed a family for like $15."
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where it boils down to, you know, and I'm pretty much, long story short, that's why I was like, you brought that up, because it's a difference in the mindset.
Yeah, you touched on a lot with that, because see, I believe the UK, don't they have free healthcare there?
Maybe, I don't know.
I believe one of those countries, and I think it is Europe, where the healthcare is free. And one disadvantage about us staying here in America is, you know, we have big pharma and a healthcare system that thrives off the profit from sick people. And I think that's why, you know, we don't have that same standard of eating healthy and unhealthy over here, because, you know, look at the bigger picture. You know, the billions of dollars that's made from keeping people sick. No sick people, no hospitals staying busy, no doctors working, no pharmaceutical narcotics being created, you know, mass produced to sell to people.
Yo, that's deep.
I say this all the time, and you mentioned too, that we have a humanity issue here. I hear all the time, man, and I won't go too deep on it. I hear the gun law, the this, the that, and the third. Yes, everything could use some tweaking, but at the end of the day, we don't care about humanity, man. We economically fueled. We're about that money over here in this country. Y'all said a couple things that came right to mind. I'm pretty sure it is Europe that does it with the healthcare. They offer their people healthcare. You feel me? So if people are hurt, if people are sick, they're encouraged to come in. You know, by making the thing so expensive, it's like it's a deterrent. Nah, we don't want that sugar. We don't do that over here. You feel me? If you want that, you gotta go over in America. They got it cheap. You feel me? You feel me? And we got so much issues, and that's why we lead the country in issues. You feel me? Whatever it is, I'm pretty sure when it comes to health, we lead. You feel me? A lot of the issues. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked it up, but I know for a fact, definitely when it comes to heart and different issues that you know that we have. You know, I remember I was watching that show. I can't remember throughout the pandemic, where the Asian, I think the Japanese guy had came over and never had anything wrong in his family, and introduced was it diabetes or high blood pressure into his family from America, and you eating fast food. Moved to America, never had any issues or anything in his family into his family by getting caught up into the system and how we do things.
Caught in the system.
The American way.
The American way. we got
make America great again, right?
But see what we can do, man, and that's why I love what we're doing. In summary, for me, we just giving the information. Like I'm like y'all, I'm not no expert. I'm ducking and dodging, weaving, and trying to find out what's the best foods for me and my family, and especially having a teenage, a young daughter. I want to just try to point her in the direction, because it's on the shelves regardless of, you know, how we try to stay away from it. It's something unhealthy on the shelves. It's, you know, especially being where we at. So we just try to navigate it. You gave a great pyramid. We got the pyramid up there, and just trying to help where we can help. You know.
That's a perfect segue, honestly, man. And so, you know, with us speaking on the truth and understanding that there is there is an issue, right? And where there's an issue, typically there's going to be some solutions, right? So we do have solutions. Just because it's cheaper to eat unhealthy over here doesn't mean we have to. And and it's not always expensive either. You know, there are ways that you can eat healthy and not break your pockets. You dig what I'm saying? And I do it every day. I have so many receipts in my phone that I keep track of, where I done bought so many you know, naturally healthy things And I'm a living testament because I'm mostly plant-based, right? And so like my receipts, I spend it for myself, and I can't even pull none up right now to show you, but you know, you can get these deals by going to these like Harris Teeters and Food Lines and stuff, and even farmers markets. Farmers markets now, you can have these dollar bags where you get a dollar worth of fruits and vegetables that's coming from a farmer, and you can
Yeah.
actually go speak to this farmer about where this fruit came from. Some of them grew it naturally, some of them, they
Mhm.
went to the store bought it, but they're honest and told you the truth. And so these are some conversations we need to have, because I think it's our duty to indulge in a high quality lifestyle, and I don't think you can live a high quality lifestyle without indulging in things that are healthy, things that are going to push you towards a healthy, family position, the culture, the community, especially when it comes to Black men. So, Akil, I know you're new to this, but this
Mhm.
year we're focusing on recovery and Black men's health, right? And
Okay.
so we speak about this a lot because, from a family perspective, I think that Black men, we need to be in our healthiest standpoint, because then we can push it out, to our women, and boost our
Mhm.
women and boost our children up to that
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle as well. So I think we should set that standard. And so
Gotcha.
I think when we set that standard, it's about producing high quality lifestyle, high quality families, and that's going to produce a high quality outcome. And if we can all come together as one, I think that's one way that we can all kind of now get above that threshold, because I want to see us all thrive. You know what I'm saying? I always look at Showtime because I think you're a pillar. You dig, you're doing your teaching now, you got your wife, you got your kids, man, you're doing really good. You know what I'm saying? I know, Kill, you're doing your good thing with the herbs and supplements, and these things are something that we need to help each other. This is something we can help, help everybody learn, because not all of us are known of this, because they don't teach this in school. We kind of had to go and find it for ourselves, and once we found it and got the results, now we can kind of extend and help that next helping hand. And so when I created this food pyramid, that's the first thing I thought about. So alkaline veggies, I think you already named a lot of them, like the kales, you know what I'm saying, bell pepper, zucchini, squash. Those are my personal favorites, right? It's all different types. Callaloo greens, the dark vegetables, alkaline grains like amaranth, fonio, quinoa, couscous, right? Even chickpeas. So these are some of the things, and even fruits, you know what I'm saying, like the small bananas,
Mhm.
apples, the peaches, the seeded fruit, the watermelon with the seeds in it. So these are the things that right, and that's something that we want to start indulging in,
Yeah, more
and then
seafood
teaching.
fruits and veggies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's all on the list. You know what I'm saying? And so it goes up from there when it comes to the fruits and the herbs. So now we're getting into your burdock roots, your
Mhm.
sarsaparilla roots, you know what I'm saying, your sea moss, you know what I'm saying? And so it's a combination. So I'll give a perfect example. Like, people
Mhm.
just think that, oh, you can just take some sea moss and still eat the foods, and think that you're just going to get fixed. And that's not how it works.
No,
You
it's
got to
not.
detox what you're doing, because you want to get the benefit of the sea moss. You get the benefit of the sea moss when you're eating the right foods. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You got to eat the right foods. You got to have the right lifestyle for it to work great. And I'll give you
Mhm.
an example of, like, if you're gonna continue the same lifestyle and just take some sea moss, that's like you trying to clean up a big wet spill with a wet rag. All you're doing is smearing stuff around. You ain't cleaning your body at all. You
Right.
messing stuff. You really messing stuff up. Let's just be honest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important to detox it and start with this list. Completely just take away what you're doing, and start fresh, and start with this list. Get you know what I'm saying, get with a kill with your herbs, get with the sea moss gels, take your burdock, take your sarsaparilla, take your bladderwhack. You did get your fruits, get your whole food snacks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, my snacks is something like walnuts. So I'm eating walnuts as a snack now. I still take my popcorn and stuff because I love popcorn. You did. I pop it on
Okay.
the stove, though. I don't use the microwave. You feel me? But it's a whole food snack. So I'm trying to weed away from like potato chips and just all those other snacks and stuff that we understand that's not the best for us, but it's making a change. And that's all we
Mhm.
can do, with everything that's going around us. As long as we have a standard of this is something that we can start with, let's start with this, let's elevate from there and live it. And of course, at the top, if you're gonna start, I say a 80% mostly plant-based alkaline diet is where you want to start. You can kind of take a little small 20 to 15%, have your fish or your burger, but it's got to be a small percentage. That plate should 80% be alkaline veggies, alkaline grains, whole fruits, herbs. Take more of those herbs than you do. So, for example, if you're taking 2 bottles of sea moss, that should be the equivalent of like a quarter of a burger. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to understand that you should be taking more healthy stuff in than the other things, right? And that's what it's about. It's just setting the standard. And we know it's a process. I'm not going to say we should all start there, but I think it's a start for somebody. So that way they're just not cold turkey in it. They can kind of start slow and eventually kind of weed it off to where, they may be starting 80%, mostly alkaline vegetables. Maybe next month they go 85 or 90%, right? And so that's, kind of find that heavy space to eventually the end goal is 100%. That's always the end goal. So you can see the best benefit of your body, and that's kind of what I teach for someone who's looking for more of that alkaline plant-based diet to get the best result. So I created that list for everybody that's watching. Make sure y'all copy this list, paste it, save it as your screensaver so you can always remember it, right? Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? So set that standard for everybody. Set it for yourself first, and then make sure you send it out to everybody else if that's something that you agree to.
I'm going to download it, and I'm going to make sure that my family, that they have it.
Please do.
Too.
Hey, for real, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? And just, it's a start. You know what I'm saying? It's a start. I think it's better than that current pyramid out there, because they're even making changes to the current pyramid.
Thank you for that.
Yo, for real, it's scary because we were taught this as kids, and now they're saying to not eat so much dairy. Now they're saying to not eat too much meat. And now you got to change the whole food pyramid. So it started off wrong to begin with, because they see all the bad outcomes that came from what it is as their standard. Now, we create our own standard over here, right? And I'm gonna say we're a living testimony of it. We're thriving. We're doing good. You feel me? We're all still learning as we go. You dig? Right. It's a never learning process.
Yeah.
Before we close, I definitely wanted to add, man. I wasn't gonna do it, but y'all was gearing me up, man. I'm gonna have a transparent moment. So my wife and I are starting a juice fast, and we spoke about it on the 20th. We're gonna start it. I got a little extra money coming in. We've been so we're trying to conceive, man. Twins been on my heart. I feel like God gonna give us some twins, and man, we've been a lot of our obstacles have been coming in from. We're finding out a lot of what we've been consuming, is affecting, being able to reproduce, so we're gonna go back, and like you guys were saying, man, this wasn't even rehearsed. Everything that you were saying, we want to detox the body. We're literally starting on Monday. Monday's the 20th. If you want to jump in, I'm gonna let you know. We're doing a green. My wife's is a little bit more strict than mine is gonna be. Hers is just primarily the green juice. We're gonna load up. We're gonna go to the market. We're gonna juice all our juices. Have them ready, meal prep style, so that way we can grab and go. We're gonna have the sea moss. I'm gonna let Akil talk about the sea moss. And me personally, that sea moss, getting those extra vitamins and minerals when you go on a fast is key. Is extremely key. You want to have that and a lot of amounts of water. So for me, I'm gonna still do my salads. I'm gonna still do fruits. I'm gonna still do veggies. I'm gonna get whatever knowledge from you guys that I can as far as what good fruits to get, because I really want to take this fast seriously, and everything is gonna be organic. Okay, so, and I'll give you the results. I definitely invite everybody to jump in. It just kind of fits. You start on Monday, and the 31st is the end of the month. That's 12 days. It's a 12-day, just a detox. I say, look at that pyramid. Be realistic with yourself. Try to consume some of those foods at the bottom, those alkaline foods, those fruits, those vegetables. I know I'm going to. We're going straight 12 days. We're going juice, primarily the juices, the sea moss, and fruits and vegetables. And like I said, again, to wrap it up, just cleaning the reproductive system. And we're going to see. I'm going to be transparent with my results. If y'all want to jump in, I'll try to post something, all the rises. I'll post just some of the juices we doing, maybe drop a recipe or something. My wife is researching it real tough. Yeah. And I'm going to slide you right in. This going to be my sea moss plug. So I'm going to we already getting it together so I can have a good supply.
Let's go.
Let's show people what sea moss looks like.
Go up on the screen.
Let's see. They can see these little stems here. This is something that Dr. Sebi, introduced to us. I actually sat in a class and met Dr. Sebi personally. I sat on the alkaline versus acidic class in Atlanta in 2015. And that sea moss was something that he preached about heavily. And the reason I really got into sea moss because Dr. Sebi sent a compound here to my mom that cured her from lupus and chronic kidney failure in 2015. And that sea moss was the main compound that I seen her use every day. And she was actually on chemotherapy at the time. And she actually came off chemotherapy from just putting these herbs and this sea moss in her body every day. And then her body reversed. And she had a strict alkaline diet. But because I got disconnected from, a natural way of doing things from my profession, I went into trucking. And I had really minimal access to healthier foods. And I didn't have the time to really meal prep. And it got to a point where I got sick. My libido levels were really low. I didn't have the performance to even get my job done. I'm taking 4 naps in between the shift. That's when I ran into the sea moss. And at the time, it looked just like this, in a raw form. It smelled like an aquarium. It tastes like an aquarium. And I think that's why a lot of people don't incorporate it into their daily diets, even though it has 92 minerals and vitamins that the body needs every day out of 102 that we're supposed to have. This is the quickest way and the best way to get it into our bodies. So I made it tasty enough for us to digest it every day. It does help eliminate mucus in the body. So when you were talking about that food pyramid and the sugars and the meats and the dairy, those are the things that put mucus in our body. And when we have mucus, we have inflammation. And where those exist, there comes disease next. So that's another reason why this whole topic about, an alkaline diet is important to have. It's the way. It's the key to a healthy life, longevity. And sea moss is one of the components you could have, but like he reflected on earlier, if you're not having a diet that aligns with the sea moss, you are not going to feel the effects. But it has a lot of great benefits. Increases energy. It's good for your bones. It's good for your eyes, your thyroids, your blood pressure. It's all sorts of benefits to it. And we definitely need all these things in our genetic makeup to stay healthy.
Yo, I love that, man. Look,
what you did with the and we're gonna leave all the information about QC Organics because we on to something. We on to something over here. I love the pineapple infused one where all the benefits of the pineapple plus the benefits of the sea moss. And like I said, I'm living testament. I wholeheartedly believe in getting back grounded and how God created us and getting away from some of this genetically modified. I know us being in this American environment, some of it we're consumed with, we're surrounded with, but we can just, us giving this information, we can make a better informed decision. And definitely, I want you to show the package one more time. So I know I get a lot of people asking me about the sea moss. And this is it in its raw form. So I know when I first seen it, I thought, I just eat it? No, you don't eat it. We make the gels. And like I said, the pineapple, some pretty cool flavors. And I'm going to let you know, I'm going to get a feedback on the pineapple. I think that's my one. That's the one that have my heart. I'm going to have to get that and see how it make me feel.
Yo, I'm going to need some of that too, for real. I'm definitely going to chop by and support because, I need the sea moss too. I already take my herbs, but as everybody know, you can't overindulge in that good alkalinity for your body. You dig? So, always continue to digest and take your herbs. So I'll definitely be tapping in with you for sure.
Yeah, I love herbs. I really that's another thing we do at Queen City Organics. We also carry an array of herbs. I get things from Africa, the Caribbean. I actually got that Bordeaux group that you talked about. I actually put that I boil that about every other day with some dandelion root, and I drink that. I've been experimenting with different things like the parasites. I got wormwood.
Come on.
I got different roots that I get from the Middle East because every country produces different herbs that have different effects. Bro was talking about cordyceps and mushrooms earlier. We really got to start getting more familiar with the mushroom family.
We do.
So it's beneficial just to put all this together. Mother Nature, keep it around us, keep it in us.
Like Dr. Sebi said, herbs are for the healing of the nation.
For all parts and all elements, the mind, our organs, like bro was saying about, want to have a higher chance to reproduce because there are things in this food that we're eating that are making women less fertile, making men have a lower count in that area. It all plays a part in it.
That's it. Yo, and I appreciate you, like, because you gave so many gems. Like, you was perfect for this topic. I don't think we could. I don't think we could have got anybody like, you know what I'm saying. Like, this is your specialty. You dig? And so this is what it's about. It's about joining together and just uplifting the community. You know what I'm saying? And that's through all aspects, right? I know me and Show, we talk a lot about fitness. We talk a lot about herbs. And I think you're a perfect topic to it. So you always welcome back. You dig? And so we always want to make sure we promoting, some good things, right? So, we want to give a special shout out to you. I appreciate you for coming through and blessing us, with your knowledge, because at the end of the day, we are an academy, right? And so an academy is a school. So we're here to build a community with the school. You dig? And so, it's always good to have teachers, that come in as a special guest. So I consider you as a teacher, as a special guest, and you're always welcome. You stamped our platform with some great knowledge. You dig? And so
I learned a lot here today too. So
yeah,
I like it. I love what y'all doing. I love how Show has been consistent in his business and just doing his part by keeping us all motivated and healthy and that physical aspect. I seen bro transform over the years. Like, it's amazing. And if he can have that transformation, I think we all need to be walking that line. So like you were saying, like, we do need our brothers to be role models and set that tone right now so that the rest of us can follow. So I love what y'all are doing here.
I love it.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. We appreciate it. We're going to keep rocking. We're going to keep doing our thing. You feel me? That's why, and I talked to Show when we first started this thing, I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We want to push this app, I want to push together. And I know Show, we was like, yo, it's like we either earn your leads, your fitness. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna try and mature this thing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them boys over there, Earn Your Leisure. You dig? So we're gonna take that platform up, and we're gonna run to the top with it. All right.
Health is wealth.
Yeah.
That's the wealth.
Yeah, so
we can have all the money in the world, but if you ain't got your health, you can't spend it.
I'm telling you, we ain't gonna live long enough to get it. That's a fact. And when we exit out, we typically like to start off with, when we face with an obstacle, what we do, in Showtime typically say we rise and rise. So I'm gonna have you join in and say we rise and rise. You dig what I'm saying? So we appreciate everybody for stopping in. Just some quick bill payments. You dig? So the 30-day challenge is completed. It's getting mixed down right now. So I want to make sure that we're gonna promote this thing, and I'll make sure that we have it added to the app. So anybody who needs to download the app, I'm going to make sure I post it on my IG and my Facebook. So if you're not following, the IG is down in the description below. So the IG is King Alajuwan 21. The Facebook is Rise and Rise Academy. The YouTube is Rise and Rise Academy. You feel me? You can always follow Showtime Training Group. You dig what I'm saying? So I'll make sure we post it on everybody's platform. So we'll make sure that, hey, it's free for 2023. Remember, that's always the slogan, y'all. Free for 2023. This is for the community. This is for recovery. We're giving everybody, the people, what they want. You dig? And this is free. You know what I'm saying? We're taking our time out of our day to give y'all the good gems. You dig? So, hey, make sure y'all tap in and do this Rise and Rise Academy. All you need is 10 minutes at least of your workout day, and incorporate the food pyramid, and tap in with a kill with the good pineapple sea moss. I'm gonna make sure I get my container for sure. I need that. You dig? And so, start your year off right. You know, I know we spoke about the whole new year, new change, new resolution. Well, you know, do it this way if you haven't been doing it or if it hasn't been working before. You feel me? So, yo, when we faced with an obstacle, what we do?
We rise and we rise.
Party, let's go.